When you do animation and you don't have a real human being on the screen, it helps for the music to have human contact. And it's the same thing in games. You have a representation of a human, and it may have been done with mocap, but it still brings it to life more when the music has human beings breathing life in there. It makes it, and that's why most of the animated shows on TV use real orchestras, because it needs it, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You guys have such large ranges from going to TV, gaming. Musically, what are your influences? And do you guys try to emulate any of those musical influences to bring it to your work?
You mean steal someone else's leg? Which is how we all learn to do what we do.
I mostly, when I start a project, I listen to some of my favorite composers of the 20th century. I tend not to listen to any film score at all, because I just don't want that permeating my consciousness. So in preparation for Black Ops, I listened specifically to people of the Cold War era that were writing really avant-garde music at the time. A guy named Georgy Ligeti, who is very famous for his music that was used in 2001: Space Odyssey. Georgy Kurtag was another Hungarian composer. A lot of the people that were really writing that very suspenseful, paranoid kind of music from the Cold War. I love Arvo Pärt, he's one of my favorite composers. I love John Tavener, so I let those guys kind of permeate my mind while I'm preparing. And then I do whatever I do.
I listen to these guys, honestly, before my list is pretty eclectic, but I need reference. Anytime I do anything, just to get ideas, there might be a chord change from who knows what genre that might inspire me. And when you transfer things like into the harder rock stuff, I try to look for more musical pieces and then take some of their chord ideas and bring them over into a heavier genre, and it just makes it sound cooler. So anything from Cannibal Corpse to Beethoven. So
that is a huge area. Well, it is funny because I was talking, Kevin's been here all weekend, and we got a chance to really talk about the music and stuff, and we were talking about, you guys coming on. He's like, wow, he goes, this is really weird me being on this panel, because these are the guys that I look up to. These are the guys that, I play their games. It's like, wow, this is great stuff. So
I'll be at their booth getting their autograph.
He'll be in line with you guys. So, but yeah, it's really, especially your question. When growing up, obviously you guys have been in the music. You've been in the music since for a while. Did you play instruments? Was there an instrument besides writing? Were you in bands? How did you
play the piano?
Did you?
I loved playing the piano. I did lessons for many years and really enjoyed. I still enjoy playing the piano. And that influenced me. And I would say, composer-wise, I listen to the music of the 20th century composers especially, but I also am a big fan of Jerry Goldsmith and John Williams. I do listen to their music. Those two guys, and Bernard Herrmann as well. Those three composers make up an important part of what influences me musically, I think.
How about you, Greg? What's
You know what? I like film scores. I like guys who do film scores. I have no problem listening to music for films, because that's in essence what we're doing. There are tricks, there's innuendo that you can learn from how people did it. And they're just art. So, I'll listen to anything that gets the juices flowing.
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer for me.
Well, no, there's not. Obviously, being in the music industry, granted, you're in the music industry. You're musicians, you're composers. I get the same question. I'm not even in the music industry. I get the same question. What do you listen to? Well, I listen to everything. I'm not going to say I only listen to this music, because I'd be lying to you. I listen to everything, and I'm sure it's the same with you. You'll be driving in your car and on the radio, it's got a really good beat to it. It's got a really good, whoever wrote that back end of it is just, it's good. It sounds good. You may not like where it's coming from. You may not like the brand of music, but you know that whoever put put their name on it and knew what they were doing. So, do we have any more questions?
It's sort of maybe a two-part or pick and choose. Do you have a favorite song that you have composed for a video game, or are there any future projects that you're really looking forward to doing?
You know, I mean, it's every, or most, I would say 90% of the tune that I wrote yesterday was my favorite. I mean, no, but seriously, you have to think this way, because my way of thinking when I'm composing, everything that I'm writing today is supposed to be the best thing I ever did in my life. If I don't at least try to think this way, it's just, there's no point for it. I mean, you always try to stress yourself and to get yourself to a point that you have not been there before. And the same thing about projects. Projects pose a challenge, and we all like challenges. So, you know, I mean, again, if it's something that is up to par to what, I mean, I don't know how to do rock. I mean, you know, Kevin is doing it great, you know, I'll call Kevin. But if it's something that I know I could do, good enough for me.
All right. Well, I hate, you know what? Can you take the question out of the booth?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I hate to cut it, guys, but we have some other panels coming up. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank you guys. Please stop by, ask some more questions, shake some hands, get some autographs and some pictures. I know some of the composers had brought some CDs with as well that they're willing to part with some autographs and pictures with too. So please come down, guys, and thank you so much for coming to our panel.